The world has had a few world wars, tens of pandemics, and a lot of other deadly historic events in the past. But if there is such a lot of history, why did it seem that no country was ready for the coronavirus? Stay tuned. People nowadays, especially young children, teenagers and adults, are familiar with living in peace, without real pandemic outbreaks, and they basically enjoy living their life. That is because times did change. A lot. Previous generations had a lot more to worry about, unfortunately. Throughout the history, since humans spread across the world, pandemics occurred. The deadliest pandemic was the outbreak of the Black Death from 1347 to 1351. Worldwide, 100 to 150 million people died. It is estimated that during that time, the Middle Ages, the world population was around 400 to 500 million. This means that the Black Death killed almost 20% of the entire world population. From that point on, we had smallpox throughout the 17th and 18th century, the Spanish flu, a dangerous virus from 1918 to 1919, and HIV/AIDS. All these diseases made tens of millions of victims all over the world due to their rapid spread and lack of facilities and knowledge to counter this. You would think the past taught us something, but then the coronavirus broke out. It all started in December 2019 in China. The world was watching in fear and entire nations were hoping it would not reach them because they were simply not prepared. Of course, needless to say, the virus reached other parts of the world, like USA and Europe, rather quick. Total chaos, entire cities, countries placed in lockdown, a shortage of medical equipment, a lack of leadership, a catastrophe for the economy, and tons of people died as a consequence of this. So no, we did not learn from the past. Except for one little country that only counts 5.5 million inhabitants. It's called Finland. Finland is located in Northern Europe and is part of the EU. Furthermore, Sweden, Norway, Russia and Estonia are their neighbouring countries, and the capital is Helsinki. Okay, enough geography, let's continue. Finns, as the people of Finland are called, are always ready and prepared for a war or a major pandemic. That is because Finland has built up a huge stockpile over the years. The stockpile includes medical supplies like face masks, oil, food, agricultural tools and ammunition. But why does Finland have such an enormous stockpile? Well, there are two reasons for this: the location and the history of Finland. First of all, one of Finland's neighbours is Russia. A good side note to mention is that in 1939, Finland fought off a Soviet invasion at their eastern border. In addition, Finland is not directly connected with the North Sea, and so most of their trade goes through the Baltic Sea. Due to this, Finland has to rely on the security conditions and the running of maritime traffic in the Baltic. This, of course, is a risky situation since there might be a disturbance in the supply chain as soon as there is some kind of crisis. This continuous build-up of a stockpile proved to be very useful when, in the beginning of March 2020, the coronavirus arrived in Finland. But how many of these stockpile warehouses does Finland have? And where are they located? As you might already expect, the location and detailed content of these warehouses are fully classified. But it is no secret that these warehouses are geographically spread across the country, and that Finland started with this operation after World War II and during the Cold War. But if you are a member of the Finnish government and feel the desire to share some more information on this topic, feel free to share in the comments. Back to the coronavirus. The global situation deteriorated very quickly between January and April 2020. First there was China, followed by Europe, and finally also USA. All of a sudden, the entire world was in need of the same products and equipment: masks, medical supplies, lab equipment, and so on. This evolved into an unseen situation. Nations were competing and stabbing knives in each other's backs to be the first one to get these products and medical supplies. The situation was even that bad that French officials said that they were waiting on a Chinese airport for a stock of masks, but while waiting, received the news that they were outbid by an anonymous American buyer. As you feel, this situation was ready to explode and led to a lot of tension between nations. That is why on March 19th the European Commission announced that Europe will create its first ever stockpile to prevent situations like this in the future. A bit too late, but good for the future. To worsen this situation, dozens of countries worldwide banned the export of essential medical materials. This led to catastrophic situations where certain countries with a lot of cases of the coronavirus were running low on medical supplies and equipment. Meanwhile, things were going a lot smoother in Finland. The country just took medical supplies and needed products from their stockpile warehouses, so no chaos and a whole lot better organised. So what will the future bring? Is every nation going to build a stockpile over the course of the next few years? That is what everyone is expecting. Of course, it is not yet fully clear what the future will bring. These stockpile warehouses can be managed in two ways. The first possibility is that each country will build up its own stockpile individually and consequently manage it completely itself. The second possibility is that a greater authority is going to manage these warehouses and, when in need, is going to distribute them across their members. A good example of this is the European Union and their member states. But, most likely, it will be a combination of these two, simply because it is more reliable. And what about the factories? Are we still going to rely on Chinese Asian manufacturers? Because this also was one of the problems during the pandemic. Before the virus, when there was no closed borders and everyone used the free markets, a lot of countries and supermarkets bought their products straight from a Chinese or Asian factory. They did this simply because it is a whole lot cheaper. So, most likely, this will change. Of course, for non-essential products, it is still the best situation to buy this in Asia. But on the other hand, for these medical supplies and essential products, governments will most likely make plans to build small factories to provide during times of a worldwide crisis. Thanks for watching this video. If you want more content like this, please subscribe. If you know an interesting topic to make a video about, leave a comment. Stay nice and happy. See you next time.